Utah Jazz handle a heck of a fight from the Sacramento Kings. David Locke and Ron Boone will break it down. The Kings fought hard, amazing tenacity. The Jazz showed what a good team they were, and in the clutch they ran. All those things coming up next on POSTCAST. POSTCAST is brought to you by the store located out 6200 South, as well as down at the Gateway. Mudslide cookies after wins, plus scholarships. It all seems really good for everyone involved as the Jazz go to 2-0 on the season. David Locke along with Ron Boone, glad to be with you. Chat rooms are open on our broadcast. Thank you very much for tuning in. Get your thoughts as well. And Ron, I thought this was really impressive by the Jazz because Sacramento was really, really good tonight. They came, they fought, they owned the space, they were tenacious, they came after, and the Jazz were able to handle it.
I thought it was one of our better basketball games, but strictly about even going back to last year because it wasn't easy. They had to fight in order to win it. They didn't give up. It was physical and end up finding a way to win. This is a sign, I think, of a team that's going to embrace each other out on the floor, but give themselves a chance to win just by playing very, very hard.
There's an aura to this basketball team. We've been around them this year, which is great. We can relay this to you. We weren't able to do this last year. They're very confident. They understand what their task is at hand. They understand what they're trying to do, which is to win a title. And I thought they showed that tonight. It's only the second game of the year, but Sacramento brought the whole house at them. And Davion Mitchell's real, and De'Aaron Fox is real, and Buddy Hield took 13 threes, and Rashawn Holmes is that's with a crowd. They took the energy. They came at the Jazz. The Jazz were on their heels for a lot of this game.
Yeah, I thought that the perimeter pressure, and that's something that we discussed last year that the Jazz struggled with. The perimeter pressure kept the Jazz, I think, I'm not saying playing cautious because, especially in that second half, but it made them think about when they drove into a crowd that they were going to get either hit, the ball's going to get stripped or something like that. I don't think they had as many turnovers there in that fourth quarter, even though neither team offensively was able to do anything. It's just that the Jazz were able to come up with some big plays to win the ball game.
First half of this game, Jazz drove to the basket when sorry, Danny Franks, our communications director, was running up the stairs, but I guess he was not coming for us. First half, Donovan drives. Anyone drives. The world collapsed on him. Rudy got only one shot attempt. They're stripping the ball. We're not getting out the three-point shooters. What changed in the second half?
Well, the fact that even though I don't think Donovan took it upon himself to challenge, the defense, but he did start to realize that I got to protect the basketball a little bit more. I thought a couple of times he was driving to the basket, and what's his name, Mitchell, that was defending him. He lowered the shoulder and tried to turn the body just a little bit, to the point where if the ball was going to get stripped, then he had to foul him or try to reach around it. Those kind of adjustments make a big difference in being able to finish at the rim. But hey, the fourth quarter was just a dogfight because neither team, I thought, was very impressive offensively until late in the ball game.
The Kings have done this now 2 games in a row. They shut down Portland entirely in the first half. The other night had defensive rating of 89. Tonight they had a defensive rating of 88 in the first half. And then the second half they allowed 72 to Portland. Tonight they allowed 64 to the Jazz in the second half of this game as the Jazz won at 110-101. So what did the Jazz change in the second half? Or what maybe Rudy Gobert is the most symbolic of it. 17 points, 20 rebounds for Rudy. He's got 4 points and 10 rebounds in the half and 1 shot attempt in the first half. In the second half, they finally got him some lobs. He ran the floor. What altered in that sense?
It's always going to be important for him to run the floor. And I think last year he started to realize that this is what Quinn wants, and this is really going to make a difference in wins and losses. It's going to really make a difference in you scoring. And us not depending on just you to rebound and play defense, but you getting some points. So I thought that was a big difference. And then the fact that the Jazz started to push the ball ahead of the defense, got some high percentage shots there to close the basketball game off. But I question Sacramento's tempo for 48 minutes of play. I mean, sooner or later you figure it out and start to break teams down like that and start to get what you need out of it.
Game's tied at 95. 5 minutes left, and the Jazz go on a 14-2 run, I think it was, to close this one out, maybe 12-2 or something, something in that range. I don't have it exactly in front of me. What did you see in clutch play from the Utah Jazz?
Well, again, being able to push the ball over the floor and no second chance points. late in the fourth quarter, and then pushing the ball ahead of the fourth. And you mentioned it there, with those high percentage shots that they were getting, Rudy running the floor, the dagger that Boyan threw in with the 3-point shot, just finding a way to win, gutting it out. Donovan Mitchell taking the ball on himself to, make some things happen. Some nifty passing. I mean, all of that kind of stuff. And again, David, the Jazz in that fourth quarter, what's that? 9 for 23, 9 for 25 for the Kings. So defensively, both teams was for the most part getting it done. The Jazz just was able to close it out.
Jazz were very good defensively in the first half, by the way. The Kings were below a point of possession. That's what kept them in the ball game. Few quick leather notes. Trent Forrest tonight plays the second half minutes instead of Jared Butler, and Trent Forrest ends up playing 4 minutes and 16 seconds. We're only +1 in that time, but I thought he was really valuable. It's being pointed out as well by Trey Sanders, one of our listeners right now.
Yeah. He's going to be a key for the Jazz, and he had a bucket there, driving to the basket, nice 2 points. But he's also a very good defensive player, something that the Jazz need. But Conley having to try to defend Fox all night long with a huge height advantage, and Fox is crafty and quick off the dribble. I mean, that could be a relief there for Conley, because of Trent Forrest is tall, long, and a very good defensive player.
Final one on that. Hassan Whiteside tonight, plus minus on the night for Hassan Whiteside was a +18. We did not see that a lot last year. With the biggest differential in the NBA was Rudy Gobert's on-off. So won't see that many nights, but +18 tonight with Whiteside on the floor. And the other one that's important is that Rudy Gobert got Rashawn Holmes in a serious foul trouble. As much as he was struggling, Holmes ended up playing only about 15, 16 nights, and their backup centers were not as good.
Yeah, he ended up fouling out, and Holmes only, as you mentioned, he got about 17, 18 minutes to play. But Hassan Whiteside, he ended up, the impact, and this is very important. We've talked about this many, many times. He played 16 minutes, but it was impactful minutes, and that's what's going to be the key, giving Rudy a rest to the point where the numbers don't necessarily drop when he's out there on the floor.
You got to understand, he's not Rudy, because Rudy's the greatest in the world. But if he can do what he did tonight, that's super valuable. Thank you very much. Huge audience tonight. We appreciate you. We'll be doing this after every game. Thank you very much. Sorry we didn't get to all the questions and things. We got to catch a bus. So that is Postcast tonight. Thanks very much. We'll be back with you Tuesday night, super late, Denver game. Tickets are available. Jazz clinics are going on as well, so make sure you go visit UtahJazz.com. And remember, the Jazz have increased their staff, so more articles, more pieces, more things on UtahJazz.com this year. Make sure it's a part of your regular routine. Have a great one.